week's episode of Bisportuals, your new favorite sports podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm kind of Kyle right now.
As you can see,
Whoa.
Kyle is in sort of a mythical space, mythical land, known as the land of technical difficulties. So we can hear Kyle and we can hear his beautiful voice, but we're going to be seeing this picture of Kyle for this episode today. So if you were really hoping for some live action of that mustache, sorry, this week's not your week. We'll be back with live mustache reaction cams later.
Trust me, I am the most broken up about it.
Well, you and D'Angelo Russell from last week.
Yeah, truly.
Speaking of D'Angelo Russell from last week, again, a reminder, please feel free to call into the program. If you have opinions, we want to hear them. If you have takes, we want to react to them. You can go ahead and call in at memo.fm/Bisportuals. That's MEMO. Yes, go ahead, Cameron.
Even if you just listen to the podcast, just let us know.
Yeah.
Hey,
we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing from Cameron and Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, hey now.
And you heard from me again, or D'Angelo Russell.
Wait, what? That wasn't actually D'Angelo Russell?
No, that was Brooklyn Nets point guard D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, it was. I just think he was using a voice filter to sound like me.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much. There's 22 episodes. Yeah, there's 22 episodes worth of Cameron audio out there. You could definitely make like an AI voice modulator just for Cameron.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again,
speaking of Cameron, I am going to interject here. Before this afternoon, Cameron did not know who the Savannah Bananas are. Like, he did not realize that they were an organization that clearly plays.
You don't know about Banana
quality.
Ball?
No.
Yeah, because he's a fucking loser. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Come on, dude. Banana Ball is the future.
Oh no, I don't know about a baseball team.
It's not baseball, it's Banana Ball.
It's better than baseball.
It is to baseball what the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals are to basketball.
That's what I was told.
It was,
but
explicitly explained to him.
I don't think I've seen a single Globetrotters clip in probably 8 years.
But they're not the Globetrotters. They're bigger than the Globetrotters.
They're the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I watch baseball even less than I watch basketball.
I don't watch baseball at all, and I know who the Savannah Bananas are.
Yeah.
I just made fun of Kyle for watching men's college baseball, which should be a fireable offense.
Yeah.
It was situational, and it was in the middle of history. I'm sorry that I care about the world and its happenings, and the first no-hitter.
It wasn't the first.
65
it
years.
Wasn't the first.
In 65 years. Let me finish my sentence. In
and
65
it's not history.
years.
It's been done before.
You want to know what I do when I see? You want to know what I do when I see any baseball content on my social media feed? I hit not interested. Do not show me. Do not show me more of this. If I see anything that isn't Family Guy related on my social media feed, I hit not interested. I don't want to see any more of it.
I don't want to see it. There is one piece of baseball media that I will allow on my feed, and it's that clip from like 3 years ago of the kid from LSU lying to his coach so he could go to bat.
Coach, I hit nukes.
Coach,
okay, I do fuck with John Boyce's Mariners series.
True. Yes. The John Boyce Mariners series. Well,
but that's just John Boyce. That's not baseball. Yeah.
John Boyce is different. Kofi,
also big
even though he's not with SB Nation anymore, we love Kofi. Kofi's content is great. Follow him on Instagram. Kofi makes great basketball content.
Also big fan of Jay Kuda on X, the Everything app. He makes some fire baseball content. It's not like actual clips of the game, so that's where you can actually enjoy it because it's making fun of baseball. So shout out Jay Kuda.
And negative shout out to Dove Kleiman. Fuck Dove Kleiman.
Yeah, fuck you.
I hate Dove Kleiman.
And
you're not even a real person.
Shout out to the New York Liberty.
Fuck the Liberty.
Fuck the Liberty. Speaking of basketball, before we go ahead and get into some basketball reactions with these game 3 and 4 of the NBA Finals, which have been played in between when we recorded last podcast and when we are recording this now, it wouldn't be an episode of Bisportuals without some games. We've got some NBA blind rankings coming your way. I've got 2 good ones here that I'm going to have Cameron and Kyle blind rank, and then Cameron has one that he requested we do, which I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know what it's about. You guys have no idea what the rankings I've got set up for you are. So let's dive in to our first one. Okay.
Oh,
this
boy.
is NBA awful trades.
Ooh.
Just awful NBA trades throughout history. 1 is the worst trade of all time. 5 is that trade actually wasn't so bad in hindsight. All right.
Some quick pre-list power rankings. I think the Nets Celtics KG trade is going to be up there. I don't know if that's number 1. It might be number 1, but
we'll see.
I think the Beal trade is going to be in there. I think, yeah.
There were a lot of trades that I could have gone through. I had to leave like 3 or 4 major ones off the list just to narrow it down to what I felt was a good 5. So are you guys ready for your first trade?
Yeah.
Here we go. First trade. The Lakers trade Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and Montrezl Harrell and Isaiah Jackson to the Wizards for Russell Westbrook. Where are we putting the Westbrook to the Lakers trade?
I mean, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse because it's not like those players did anything in Washington. If Washington was crazy good off that trade and the Lakers sucked with him, which they did, then it would be a different story. But I don't know what else you got on here. I'm fine putting this at 4.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
It's kind of it wasn't like a lose-lose trade necessarily, but definitely there wasn't like a clear winner with this trade.
Yeah, so I think if there's a clear winner and a clear loser, that's like that makes it more of a bad trade.
So we're slotting this in at 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have the Nets trade Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, Marshawn Brooks, Keith Bogans, and 3 unprotected firsts for KG, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and DJ White from the Boston Celtics. Cameron, you called it. It was on this list. This is the KG, Paul Pierce to the Nets. Yeah, where are we feeling with this one?
I know I said I didn't think it would be number 1, but I just remembered that the 2 of those 3 picks turned into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, so it might actually be number 1.
It's got to be up there, for sure.
Thoughts?
I was thinking like maybe a 2.
What can you think of that's worse, though?
Luka.
No.
At the end of the day, like, it obviously made the Nets worse, like truly, clearly bad. At the time, the Celtics didn't really go deep in the playoffs from it. You know, they didn't. Obviously, the picks later turned into a lot, but like the players at the time didn't.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it was
they
like
still got.
It was a step
they
back
still
to get a step
remain
forward.
Competitive.
Yep, it was a step back.
They were never
to take a step
terrible.
Forward. But also, it's the East, and the East sucks big, fat, juicy balls.
LeBron was in the East at
the time. LeBron was in the East at this time.
Again, it was LeBron and 14 other poverty franchises. So, I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool putting them high up. I do think it was a bad trade.
I just don't know what's worse, though.
I guess, again, I think...
Well, you don't know what else is on the list.
Yeah.
I don't think the Luka trade is worse, though. AD is a great player.
Yeah, in the AD trade, at least the Mavs got something in return.
And it's not worked out too well for the Lakers so far.
Technically. I guess the longevity of the trade is going to be important here. I think the only problem is just like, you know, the Mavs got 2 players in a pick for their franchise superstar. Whereas
but they're also getting Cooper Flag now, so it's not like they're going to be.
But that's not a result
forever.
Of the trade.
I know it's not a result of the trade, but it is context.
Right. Like if the trade didn't happen, they probably wouldn't have had a lottery option or a lottery opportunity. So like, I understand that, but if we're looking at pure trade of what is good, what is bad, the trade itself on paper is bad because you're having a top 5 player traded for a top 20 player, a role player, and a pick. Whereas like we literally just saw Desmond Bane get traded for 4 first-round picks.
Oh, well, that trade was awful, but
yeah,
it's tough.
So there's another bad trade.
It's tough because we don't know what the longevity of that the Luka trade is going to be because it is so recent.
Yeah, but so far since it's happened, the Mavs have won it.
But if you honestly think in the
out long term, court, no, I don't think the Mavs will have. But I think it's too early to call it the worst trade of all time when the potential of it has not shown at all. In fact, the opposite has shown.
All right. Well, if you want to put this KG
I want to
trade
put the Nets
at
one at 1.
Fine.
All right. So we've got the Lakers Westbrook trade at 4. KG and Paul Pierce to the Nets at 1. Next up, we have draft night trade. The Hornets trading Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac.
Yeah, that's awful.
They didn't have a choice.
Right.
Realistically.
Yeah, Kobe, if he even did stay, he wouldn't have been there for more than his rookie contract.
Yeah, I don't want to, put too much blame on Charlotte because Kobe was kind of a drama queen.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I'd give it a 3. I think it's safe right now.
Vlade Divac is still he was still an all-star a couple of times, I think.
I don't think so.
I'm going to fact check that.
A couple maybe as in 1 or 2.
Vlade Divac, his highest... Where's the points per game? Highest points per game in the NBA was 16 in 94 and 95. Yeah, no. Oh. I do not believe. Let me double check.
So
leaderboards, awards, honors.
Yeah,
a guy who wasn't even an all-star.
He was an all-star once in 2001.
So
and he was first all-rookie team.
So a one-time all-star versus a 14-time all-star in Kobe, I want to say.
Yeah, but then again, it was also the 13th pick at the time. They did not have it's not like they were gonna get a superstar for the 13th.
Yeah,
not at that time.
You can't predict at the time, but obviously we just talked about longevity.
The trade was forced.
Yeah.
So
you're really I don't know how much you can hold that one over Charlotte's.
I would be fine putting this at 5, but if you really want to put it at 3,
I mean, I'm cool with 5. I'm
just
running through trades in my head. I don't know what's going to be drastically worse than this.
As the person who put together this list, there is potential.
Cool.
There's potential. There's absolutely potential for it to get worse. Because sometimes you forget that certain trades happened. And then you remember, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
That happened. So where do we want to put Kobe?
Fine.
5, as I said.
5? All right. So we have the 2 and the 3 left. That's all that's left. Our 4th trade, it is the one Kyle talked about, the Mavericks trade. Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris for AD, Max Christie, and a first-round pick.
I mean, I would say 2. But
rock, paper, scissors. Oh, wait.
Yeah, Kyle, fuck you.
You have to promise to be honest. You have to promise to be honest.
Okay.
FaceTime me. Hold on.
No, I have my phone off.
All right.
I'll turn my phone on.
We are trusting. Okay. We're going to ensure integrity and validity in this most sacred game of rock, paper, scissors. They will be FaceTiming to confirm that neither are skirting rules or responsibilities. This is how gentlemen settle disputes. Is with the nice game of...
This is my phone home screen. It's Bob Dylan and the Rizzler. Check it out. Badass, right? Badass fuckers.
That feels like... Did you know at this festival I'm going to this weekend, he's not going to be there while I'm there, but the Rizzler is going to be there.
The Wizwa?
The Rizzler will be at Fanatics Fest. I believe it's Saturday. But so I'll miss him, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have gotten his autograph.
Why, hello, Kyle. All right. On 3 on shoot. 2 out of 3. Okay. Here. Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay. Paper. I got scissors, he got paper.
All right, that's 1-0, Cam.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Double scissors.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Double scissors again.
Okay. Ooh.
Rock, paper, scissors, bang. All right, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker father trade going at 3.
Okay. That moves in at the number 3 spot. Finally. So this is your number 2 worst trade of all time. Right here. This is the Milwaukee Bucks trade Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for Elmore Smith, Brian Winters, Dave Myers, and Junior Bridgman.
So not a bad two.
Exactly. You traded
But also,
a top 10 player of all time
top
for
3 player of all time.
Yeah. For a bunch of home.
Elmore Smith sounds familiar. He was probably a bucket.
He was probably a bucket.
Probably.
Back when they were playing with peach buckets still.
Damn.
But I think this is a pretty solid turnout for how this list could have turned out. I think this was pretty good. I think you could debate that the Luka trade, depending on what it could turn the Lakers into, if the Lakers go on to have this like 8-year renaissance post LeBron, I could see them moving up to 2.
But right now the Mavericks have won the trade at this very moment.
You keep saying
that's bullshit. I'm sorry, you can't keep saying that. They didn't win anything.
What team got the first round? What team got the first overall pick, and what team got a first round exit?
They didn't get the first round pick. They did get the first overall pick from the trade, but the Lakers actually made it to the playoffs
and made it in the lottery.
Do you think that the future of the Mavericks? Do you think that the future of the Mavericks with this first round pick are brighter than the future of the Los Angeles Lakers right now?
Potentially.
That's fucked up, and you're wrong. The Lakers went from a 7-8 seed like mix-up team to the 3rd seed in the West immediately with Luka. And now they're going to retain that chemistry. They're going to retain a system. They're going to be able to build upon that and not get stuck in this poverty shit. So they're going to be a perennial contender in the West this year.
Yeah,
whereas the Mavericks are going to suck dick.
I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to afford any depth this year, really. I don't think they're going to be able to get a good center.
It's not about this year. The Lakers have secured their future for the next 8 years of their franchise.
Yes.
And
the Mavericks have not done that.
I agree on the conditioning a little bit.
God, you're
true.
But we'll see. I don't know.
I think if anybody can get him into shape, it is LeBron.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, this is the place for him to do it.
Not talking about the future. I am talking right now at 8:48 p.m. Central Standard Time on June 16th, 2025. The Mavericks have turned out better from the trade than the Lakers.
Then we're just going to fundamentally disagree on this. And that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Sometimes that happens. But here's something I think we can agree on. The importance in any sport, not just basketball, of having funny names. Every sport needs a Ha-Ha Clinton Dix. We talked about it last week.
Give me Quindary Weatherspoon. Tell me he's on here.
No, he is not. Here I have... No. So I have five funny NBA names, and you have to rank them. These are all time. These are not just active players. And there's some good ones on here. So, let's go ahead. Let's hop in. Number 1, we'll start off with a taster. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
4, 5.
That's not really
just Greek.
Funny. Yeah.
It's fun to say, but that's just because it's Greek.
I think maybe the fun part of it was like when people were just like butchering right away. They were like,
when he was a rookie.
And it's like, yeah. But now it's just like everybody knows it.
At this point, if you don't know how to pronounce it, you're just fucking stupid.
Or racist. Or both.
Yeah.
Or Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, give me 5.
Right.
Yeah.
5? I like it. Okay. Giannis goes at the 5. The only list in history where he is number 5.
Ooh, is Dick Dickey going to be on here?
Number 2, his nickname and the name he went by in the league was Manny Harris. But his real name is Corporeale Ladorable Harris.
What the fuck?
Who is this guy? Give me a player profile.
Hold up. Let me get Manny Harris's player profile up.
Yeah, I need the basketball reference.
Manny Harris. Shooting guard. Born in 89. Average. He played 4 years in the NBA, 3 years in other leagues. He played from 2010 to 2016. 2010 and 2011, he was in Cleveland. He started about 20 games total, averaged about 18 minutes a game.
And that was when the Cavs were dog shit.
Mm-hmm. In 2013 and 14, he was on the Lakers. And then 2016-17, he was in Dallas. He averaged about... in his best year was in 2013 with the Lakers, where he averaged 8 points over 9 games played and 0 games started. He averaged about 6
garbage
points.
time buckets.
6.2 points per game in his 2 years with Cleveland, and 2 points in the 4 games. 2 points per game in the 4 games he played with Dallas.
And can I get that full name again?
Yes, that is Corporiale Ladorable Harris.
Is he American?
He is American.
What the fuck?
You said his middle name was Ladorable?
Ladorable.
Adorable.
Is that...
Born in Cameron's favorite city, Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, major. I'm getting like a...
That is, by the way, that is L apostrophe
Yep.
adorable.
Okay. Is he white?
No.
Okay.
I'm cool with a 2 on this one.
Yeah, me too.
That's a fun middle name.
Manny Harris heading in at the 2. This third name is actually kind of the reverse. His real name is Lafayette Harris, but the name he went by in the league was Fat Lever.
Fat
Would you
Lever
like
was a bucket?
Would you like a breakdown on Fat Lever?
I know my Fat Lever.
Your Fat Lever or this Fat Lever?
This Fat Lever was a fucking flamethrower.
Yeah, you could say that.
Fat Lever did receive MVP and DPOY votes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was an All-Star. This guy was a 2-time
good.
All-Star as well. Yeah.
Fat
with
Lever.
Denver, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
with Denver. He spent his first 2 years with Portland, his last 3 with Dallas, but the bulk of his career and his 2 All-Star years were with Denver in the late 80s.
Yeah. Fat Lever, but also Lafayette Harris is kind of sick.
Give me like a...
Okay. That's still like, even like, I guess fat is kind of short for Lafayette a little bit.
Yeah.
Supposedly he got it because his little brother as a young child could not pronounce Lafayette, and so just called him Fat.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm cool with 3.
I was thinking 3. I just don't know what else is on this list. So
We still have 1 and 4 open, right?
1 and 4 are open now. So we're putting Fat Lever in at the 3.
Yes.
Our number 4 name, you may know him as an NBA player. You may also know him as his patented signature move. This is the God Sham God. God Sham God is his name.
I'm not impressed, I will say.
Are you familiar with a Sham God?
Oh, I know the Sham God.
So, Cameron, a Sham God is a crossover where you throw it out with one hand and wrap it around with the other. It's a unique kind of crossover that he kind of did. Now, to be clear, Sham God played a total of 1 year in the NBA. This was the 97-98 season with the Washington Wizards.
A historic franchise.
Truly. Known for developing talent.
I would rather put this at 4 than 1.
Yes, agreed.
Okay. So at your number 1 spot, God Sham God moves into the 4 spot. At your number 1 spot, you have
Dick.
the one, the only, Longer.
Hell yeah.
Longer. One of the only players in NBA history with the same name for his first name and last name. He is in elite company with Bol.
Are you familiar with Dick Dickey, though? That's an elite name.
It's a great name, but it's not on the list.
All right. Well, speaking of lists...
Longar. Yes.
I got one for you guys. I specifically wanted Ryan on this because there is one...
In particular.
There's one name on this list that Ryan has not spoken on publicly that I would really like for him to have a public stance on. I would like to know what he thinks about this person. So we're doing NBA player children.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna start off. Happy Pride Month, Zaya Wade. Not who I was referring to about Ryan. I'll get there, but
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Zaya Wade. I feel like she's got to be up there.
Yeah, solid candidate for just an overall good family member, you could say.
Yeah. I think I'm comfortable putting Zaya in the 2 spot.
Okay.
She's an icon. She's a trans icon. Go Queen. And from some of the images I'm seeing, she's got style. She knows her fashion. Yeah. She knows how to do casual outfit, but she also knows how to get high fashion with it. And I respect that.
And she also inspired Dwayne Wade to be a huge advocate for trans rights.
And good in the world. You love to see it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good with Zaya at the 2.
All right. Next, we have Cannon Curry, son of Warriors guard Stephen Curry, famous for crying every time the Warriors lose.
5. I hate him. I hate that stupid fucking kid.
I'm not a.
Also,
I hate saying that
his name is Cannon.
And like Cannon with 1 N in the middle, not 2. If it was 2, that would be badass.
Because Curry's got a cannon.
No, and just Cannon is awesome. It's like naming your kid Grenade.
I think this. I'd say 4.
Okay, I'm cool with 4.
I think.
At this point in the game,
can put Cannon at the 4. I just want to leave the options open.
All right. Next up, we have daughter of Sacramento Kings forward DeMar DeRozan. We have DR DeRozan, famous for screaming whenever the Raptors are at the free throw line.
This might be a 1. This might be 1.
That was a really solid play-in game. Down.
I think this might be 1. Because I can't think of a more... Other than, like, Bronny.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about. I can't think of a more iconic... Can't think of a more kid. Especially become that iconic, that young, for just screaming when opposing teams are at the foul line.
And, like, you know, we talk about fame, and we talk about, like, you know, her, like, 15 seconds of fame. It was, like, controlled. It was to the point. It was solid. Whereas, like, with Bronny's time in the public eye, he has had a rise. He has had a fall. There's some arguments to be made there almost. So, like, is it DR? Is that how you say it? DR? DR. With DR, like, we know her for one thing. It's a good thing. That's all we know, and that's all we need to know.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like DR DeRozan at 1. I like the placement.
All right. Here's who I was talking about to start. This is Deuce Tatum, son of Jason Tatum, famous for probably being the next Bronny in the media's eyes.
5. I'm cool with 5 here.
Can I speak my piece on this?
Absolutely.
Yes. Because the floor is yours.
So here's the thing. Deuce, I'm talking to you. I feel incredibly bad having to condemn you to this spot. But the sins of the father are inseparable from the sins of the son until the son goes and makes his own path in life. So until you strike out on your own and become your own man, Deuce, I have to hold you accountable for what your father has done, which is be the 3rd best player on the Boston Celtics. And I don't like doing this. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. I want to see that you'll grow and become a better man than your father was and is. And I believe that you can. I know that you can because I see the spark in your eyes. I know what you can be. Right? You can be so much more than the 3rd best player on the Boston Celtics. And I believe in that future for you. But until you achieve that, I can't put you any higher on this list than number 5, Deuce.
Also, he does kind of suck at basketball right now.
He doesn't have to be a basketball player.
I know.
Maybe
but
he goes off and joins another career.
I'm just saying, and if he exceeds,
if he succeeds and excels in that role and isn't the corny third best player on the Boston Celtics, he will succeed his father. And that's what I hope for him. And I believe in you, Deuce. Thank you for my time.
No, thank you for sharing.
All right. I am sorry to inform you that at the number 3 spot, I have Devin Booker, famous for being son of Luka Doncic, and for attempting to murder Mike Conley and Chris Finch by the transitive property.
Damn, that is... Fuck. How did we forget?
How did we forget? He even told us last segment,
dude, earlier,
that Luka Doncic was Devin Booker's father.
I did. I gave you a hint.
You dropped it. You dropped it in the chat.
Dude, you should have been 4 on this list. You should have been 4 on this list, and that's on me. That's on me. I didn't think about Devin Booker, son of Luka Doncic.
All right, you guys, for anyone who thinks that's bad reasoning, Devin Booker's dad was also an NBA player. So,
Cope.
True.
His dad and his father are both NBA players.
His father and his daddy.
Yeah, so you guys really fucked this one up, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good list.
I think it's a very clear 1-2 between DR and Zaya.
Yep.
They're clearly the best of this group. But speaking of the best, let's talk about the DR DeRozan and the Zaya Wade of the NBA. That, of course, being the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals, currently going on. Last episode, we talked about reacting to games 1 and 2. The Pacers had, at the time, just evened the series up 1-1. They stole one in Oklahoma. They came back, had a resounding game 3 in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indiana before losing
John Halliburton effect.
The John Halliburton effect was in full swing in Indiana in game 3 before a devastating fourth quarter loss in game 4, where the Pacers were leading for most of the game before Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came in with a 15-point fourth quarter to steal the game for the Thunder, evening it up 2-2 heading back to Oklahoma City for game 5. The series is officially a best of 3, and just after last episode, I said I felt super confident about OKC in 5. I immediately had to eat my words. So, Cameron, I want to throw it to you first. How are you feeling now that the series has gone back to OKC, tied up, and who do you like having the edge in these next 3 games?
Well, first of all, if you're going to use the comparison of the DR DeRozan and Zaya Wades of the NBA, I would like to say that OKC is the screaming child, and
this
the
is
Indiana
actually
Pacers are
accurate.
LGBT icons.
This is actually incredibly accurate. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do think when you're going into a Game 5 situation tied up 2-2, that is the most important game, like, in the series, in any, like, series other than a 3-3 Game 7, of course. But just if a series is tied going, like, 2-2 going into Game 5, way more often than not, the winner of that game wins the series. And going into this game in OKC, I don't know if the Thunder can really lose. As much as I hate to say it, the Pacers, I think that fourth quarter loss, they looked tired. I think they're like long postseason. It's finally catching up to them. They had a few long series. Yeah, it is tough to play in OKC, and I think the Thunder are going to come out swinging. I think I'll stick with my Thunder in 6 take, as much as I hate to say it.
So you think they take it in OKC and then put it to bed in Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're one game away from winning a championship, I can't see them not giving it everything.
Mm-hmm. You know, some people would say that the opposite is kind of true, is when you're one game from elimination, that's when you kind of play your hardest.
That's true, but this is a young team who loves winning, and they're really good at it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
they are.
It's one of those things where in media in general, I feel like we jump the gun a little bit sometimes, and I felt like a lot of the narrative once the Pacers went up 2-1 was like, hey, they're only 2 wins away. They're gonna do it. They're only 2 wins. And it's like almost like, again, putting your eggs all in one basket of like, OKC is mentally fatigued, they're done, they're out of this. You're downing one of the best teams that has actually ever played basketball. So I think that headspace, obviously, we know that the Oklahoma City Thunder is on social media, that they're aware of the talkings. They hear that outside noise. And there's a difference between them hearing it, processing it, and overcoming it. I think that's what we're seeing right now is that OKC is overcoming that noise. Again, everybody's complaining about how chippy
They're
some of the
doing
foul
what
calls
over
are.
the noise?
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. But they're over it.
It was a cum joke.
Yeah, they're over it and they're coming it. So with that, it's a team that can handle the pressure. Whereas I feel some of the other teams that have gone deep in the playoffs this year maybe just weren't meant for that pressure. And again, this is a team that's young and able to adapt to this modern era where media is so streamlined. Like someone writes an article and it's not, oh, I got to wait a couple of days to go see it in a newspaper. It's I have full access to it with 2 clicks. So they're going to see it regardless of if they want to or not.
Yeah.
So it's what they do with that. And I think that's what we're at right now.
Yeah, I think just looking at, I mean, you were talking about, we aren't just sort of in that instant media reaction, and we love having the hot take of the series. Like if you remember, even in Minnesota's first round series, when they beat the Lakers in game 1, people were starting to be, everyone had said Lakers in 5. But when they beat the Gapers, the Lakers in game 1.
Gapers? Holy shit.
Hey,
wait, I gotta get to this locker room. Wow, LeBron is bringing the Diddy parties to the Lakers locker room? Okay.
Yep, straight there.
Damn.
But everyone, like, it was the hot thing in media to be like, the Timberwolves are going to win this series. They are the better team. We knew this all along. And it's like, no, we watched the games before this, and we kind of knew what the situation was. And I think, Kyle, you made a very good point of like the moment Indiana went up 2-1, it was like, OKC's too big for the moment. OKC's this, OKC's that. And it's like, we watched the Denver series. We know what this team does when they're under pressure. And it's come through for the most part. So I definitely think the media as a whole was a little quick in their... I believe the reports of Oklahoma City's death were greatly exaggerated, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking forward to games 5 through 7. I think, Cameron, you've said that you think they wrap it up in 6. I tend to be...
I'm sticking with that take.
As of now, because my official prediction of OKC in 5 is now in the dirt, in all honesty, I like OKC in 7, only because of, I do think the point you made is like this team will be 1 win away from a championship. They will be feral for it, but OKC on the road is very different from OKC at home, and Indiana at home is a very formidable opponent as compared to what they do in OKC. So I think, as you said, the John Halliburton effect plus Indiana at home and OKC on the road. I just don't know. I also don't know. We don't know what the ref schedules are going to be like. So if it's game 6 in Indiana and the extender Scott Foster is on the roster, we could be going to a game 7.
That's fair.
So I could see this ending in 6 or 7. I tend to lean 7 because I like Indiana when they're at home. Like when Indiana played at home, out of the 8 quarters of basketball they've played at home, Indiana has won 7 of them. So yeah, I'm leaning OKC in 7.
I was just saying, I can jump in unless Cameron wants to go.
Oh, I just want to finish this up. Like, I think giving, like, if OKC wins game 5, which I think they will, I think game 6 is probably a 50-50. So I'm just sticking with my take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fair. For me, one thing kind of tying into Ryan's point is these home court advantages. These are 2 teams that really thrive on their home court advantage. Like those Indy fans are fucking insane. Like they will do whatever it takes to help their team win a game. Same with Oklahoma City. That's part of the perks of the small market NBA finals is like the fan base is actually invested. It's not the New York Knicks versus the LA Lakers where you're just going to get celebrity after celebrity who is just there for the photo op. They don't, and oh wow, it's a fun game.
As much as I love having Lisan Al-Gaib in the front row.
Right.
But he's like an actual like huge basketball fan. So
True. He exhibits fan behavior as opposed to some of these, like that. If you remember the LA fans in round 1 who were just like,
yeah,
robots. So that's where I think we could see this series most likely go to 7, just because it is OKC, Indy, OKC from here. I feel that OKC has a good chance to win Game 5. And I feel that we just can't forget that home court advantage. We're complaining about like some of the perks of basketball right now of like, wow, we're getting more basketball because these teams are so close in terms of skill, in terms of performance. They're competing with each other at the end of the road. So I think it's going to be, I don't know if my take is going to stay the same or if it's actually going to follow through where Pacers in 6. I would love to see it. I don't think it's realistic at this point. It's either going to be OKC in 6 or either team in 7.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just going to list off a couple OKC players and you tell me if you would be happy for them or not for getting a ring.
Okay, I like it.
Shea.
No.
Fuck
him.
J-Dub.
No.
Not really, but I'm indifferent.
Yeah, I kind of like J-Dub. He's
corny.
There are some players I would like to. There are only really 3 players I don't want to see get a ring.
Chet Holmgren.
No. Corny.
No. Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Indifferent.
Alex Caruso, ring number 2.
Yes.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Other Jalen Williams.
No.
Solid contributing minutes. So sure, get your ring, bud. Yes.
No.
Yes.
I want to see an elite defender get rewarded.
Aaron
I just
Wiggins.
don't want to see the Oklahoma City Thunder win.
I'd like that more. Yeah. Aaron Wiggins. Oh,
the better Wiggins.
Technically.
Isaiah Joe.
No.
I don't care.
I don't know. He's good.
He's good. He
Solid
does not
minutes.
move the needle for me.
Mark Daigneault.
Yeah.
No.
Most coaches are okay with.
My coaching philosophy is we're gonna foul the shit out of you. Good luck.
And then we're gonna complain when we don't get the whistle.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move on. We've got our predictions in for how we think the rest of the series is going to play out. Let's go ahead. There's a whole nother league that's had a whole lot happen recently. But first, it's not an episode of Bisportuals, as you always know. We got to have a game. And today, we are going to be playing a classic. We've got another round of the one, the only. That's right. It's Weddle.
Yeah.
Swipe, sip. Shop now. Diet Coke. Where's your ad blocker?
I don't have an ad blocker.
We say this every time.
Last time we played Weddle, it was first roundle specifically because it was draft themed. We are not doing that. This is simply normal, straight up Weddle. So we should be better at this.
Hi.
Cameron, I want to head to you first. Where do you want to start off?
Successful Quan.
Let's get Laquan Treadwell in here. All right. Not a wide receiver. Probably 6'1 or 6'2.
Does Graham wide receiver mean that he's a defensive player?
I believe so. Let me actually double check the rules here. No, so he's not a pass catcher, is what I believe it is.
Okay.
It is wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends.
So it's NFC running back. They are younger than 28. They are around 6 feet tall, and they wear a higher number than 16.
Alvin Kamara? No, he's getting up there.
He's old. He's old.
Yeah. I just know he's like 44. So that's where I was thinking number.
NFC running
Josh
back?
Jacobs
Could be CMC.
How old is Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones is like 30.
No, he's only been in the league for like 6 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, and they come into the league when they're like 23, 24.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I like the Josh Jacobs run. Let's see.
Well, he wears number 8, though. Okay. Well, NFC North running back.
We got info. NFC North running back, probably 6 foot.
So
not on Green Bay.
David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs. What's his number?
Isn't he like 20 something?
Yeah, I think David Montgomery might.
Wasn't he 30?
He's older.
Yeah.
Yeah, this David Montgomery would have to be 27 at the oldest.
Wait, Bears.
No,
Who am I
they'd have to
thinking
be
of?
25 at the
DeAndre
25
Swift.
or 24 at the oldest.
Yeah, what's DeAndre Swift's number?
Oh no, yeah. I think if it's
I don't remember
24,
what
I think
DeAndre
it's
Swift-
probably Jameer Gibbs.
I think it's Gibbs.
Yeah.
I'm running it.
If it's not Gibbs, then
Am I misspelling?
JAHYMR or MYR, I think. Is that it? Not his real first
just do
name?
Gibbs.
That's what I'm.
What?
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 Jameer Gibbs not on? Why would Jameer Gibbs not be on here?
Wait, really, just one single J. There he is. Wait,
Jalen.
I thought I saw him.
Wait, was it Gibbs Jameer?
No. Jake Browning, Jacoby Myers, Jalen, all the Jalens, Jamal. Huh? What the hell? No Jameer Gibbs.
I guess it's DeAndre Swift.
Let's see. DeAndre Swift. So it is a Chicago running back.
Wait, did they get anyone this offseason?
Ooh, could it be Roshan Johnson?
Wow.
Nice.
Good pull.
Thank you, savior of my fantasy draft 2 years ago, Roshan Johnson. Let's go. That's huge.
Major.
Huge. All right. Let's take one more. Let's run one more.
Yeah, that was fast.
All right, Kyle, where are we starting?
Give me Mr. Cocaina, Stephon Diggs.
All right, AFC East.
He got
Ooh, a
that Hunter
low
Biden
number.
shit.
Low number.
And so they play for Miami, Jets, or Bills.
Or the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are 28
It's either
at the
7
oldest.
Mm-hmm. They're at least 6'2", and their number is
At least 6'3".
either 7 or 6. Or yeah, at least 6'3".
So I'm
And the
thinking
number is
quarterback
7 or
here.
What number is Drake May?
Isn't he
Is
10?
Josh Allen
What's
older
Justin
than
Fields?
29?
Did Justin Fields do 7 on the Jets?
Maybe. Could be Fields.
Could be Justin Fields. Let's take a look.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. I feel
Should we go for 3? Go for 3?
Yeah.
Let's go for 3. Go for 3. All right, I get to pick this time.
Go.
This time. We are going to go with... Let's get a little Tank Dell.
Tank Dell, shout out.
Ooh.
Get well
Oh
soon,
my
buddy.
lord.
Damn. All right, we got a wide receiver wearing number 8. He is slightly younger.
Number
and
3. Sorry.
The
It's
quality,
tough to see.
yeah.
Number 3, he's a little bit younger, either 24 or 23. He's either 5'9" or 5'8".
Short ass.
And he plays in the AFC, but not the AFC South.
All right.
A number 3 wide receiver in the AFC.
That's a little guy, and it's a young guy.
Xavier Worthy's 10, right?
I don't know.
He's not number 3. I know that.
Yeah.
What about Rashee Rice?
I believe he's 2. What's Lad McConkey's number?
It's like,
feel like it's a single digit.
I thought he was like 9 or 8.
I don't know if it's 3, but we can at least
Going
get
through
another
the-
division out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try and lock in age.
Let's see Lad.
Lad's older
Alright.
than Tank Dell.
No,
That-
he's younger. Tank Dell is 25. Lad McConkey is 23.
Oh, I thought it
Quality.
says 26.
Not the AFC West.
So
though.
AFC South or AFC North, we got
AFC North or AFC East.
How
Oh, yeah.
old is Jamar Chase? Oh, no, he wears 1. I'm
He's
stupid.
number 5.
yeah.
He wears 1.
I'm stupid.
I think
What does Jerry Judy wear?
I think he's a little too old.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
at least older than
Yeah.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, he was in
Fair
JJ's
point.
draft.
Fair point.
I'm just going through the teams. Is
Zay
DK
Flowers is 4.
What's Rashad Bateman wear?
Either 0 or like 10. I know he's got a 0 somewhere in his number.
What about
Brian Thomas? What does he
Wait,
wear?
Deontay Johnson? What does he wear? Sorry.
Oh, true. What does Deontay Johnson wear?
What is Deontay Johnson?
feel like
the
he's
one
gotta
who
be
got passed
older,
around
though.
like a blunt.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Mhm.
team is he on?
Yeah.
now?
He's on the Ravens right now,
Oh.
I think. He's the 3rd wide receiver on the Ravens. No, he's in the AFC North. I know that.
Actually, I think
He
he went
started
to
on the
the
Steelers.
I think he might be back on the Steelers.
No,
I
he's
don't know.
not.
I think he's
I don't
at
know.
least 20.
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah. Young wideouts. AFC East.
How?
Maybe it is Brian Thomas.
No, that's AFC South. Oh,
Damn.
fuck.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's my
Okay.
bad.
Oh.
I'm thinking Jalen Waddle is a young wide receiver. I'm thinking
he wears 7.
Garrett or for the Jets. What Garrett?
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
He wears double digits too. I think Keon Coleman wears 10.
Wait, no. It's a Bills wide receiver. It's a Bills wide receiver. I'm almost
Shakir.
Is it Khalil Shakir?
I feel like he's older.
No, it's not Bills, but it's AFC East.
It is the AFC East.
Yeah, so it's a 24-year-old. Right?
Yeah. 24-year-old.
And they're short. They're a little guy.
Okay. So, Patriots. Is it Jalen Polk?
Maybe.
Does he wear 3? Because
I don't know.
I think Diggs is 8.
I know he's young, though.
Yeah.
I know he's young. No, but it's New England.
Patriots. Fuck, I don't know anyone on the Patriots.
Stephon Diggs, Jalen Polk. Jacoby Myers is too old.
And he's on the Raiders, right? Or did he go to the Patriots?
He was on the Raiders, but I believe he's...
I wasn't sure if it was that way or the other way around.
Is it Jacoby Myers? I thought he would be too old.
I think he is.
He's absolutely too old.
I just don't know who else is on the Patriots.
They didn't draft a wide receiver this year, did they?
No.
The only pick I can think of for them is Mason Campbell.
Will Campbell,
yeah.
Who's Mason Campbell?
And
Mason Graham.
I don't know.
You smirched.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll cut that.
Yeah.
Quick docs.
We'll cut that.
Yeah. I don't know who else is on the Patriots.
They also picked Travion Henderson, though. Yeah.
You guys have fun. I have no idea now.
Fuck.
Brain blast.
He's done nothing. He's done nothing for the Patriots. But he's got an alliterative name. I think it's D. It's D something. Because I remember I made a joke one time about him.
Is it Demario Douglas?
It's Demario Douglas. It's for sure. Guarantee. Hard guarantee.
Wow. Nice.
Because I thought it was funny because I wanted them to draft DeLuigi Douglas.
Yeah, Mario Luigi.
I thought it was funny. Yeah. All right. But with that, it is time to continue our official Bisportuals predictions. Last week we had the NFC North where we had some long conversations about why I was wrong and why Cameron and Kyle were right, according to them.
Skull.
We will stay in the North, but we will switch conferences. We will head over to the AFC North. We'll start in the AFC North, and then next week we will be heading to the NFC East. That will be next week, so you could look ahead to that. But this week, AFC North, tough, hard-nosed football here in the AFC North. Let's go ahead and start with our 4th place teams. I will go ahead and begin. You want to go ahead, Kyle?
I was just going to say there's going to be probably a lot of consistency from us on this pick in particular.
I have a feeling we will all be in the same boat here. So I'll go ahead. I'll just say it. I have the Cleveland Browns finishing in 4th place with a record of 4-13 this year.
I have the Cleveland Browns finishing in 4th place with a record of 3-14.
Okay.
I have the Cleveland Browns finishing in 4th place with a record prediction that is to be determined.
Okay. But we're all in agreement. The Browns are our last year.
The Browns.
I don't think it's a particularly hot take.
The Browns are just shit.
The Browns are the Browns, man.
Yeah. They got nothing going on offense. The only thing they got going on defense is Myles Garrett, and their secondary isn't awful, but there's no competing in the AFC North with the roster that they currently have, and even with their 4th place schedule for out of conference games, it's not going to be good. They also just didn't improve this year. We spent a lot of time talking about the Browns after the draft, but yeah.
I'll go ahead. I'll quickly go through what I have here, and then Cameron, I want to hear what you have to say about the Browns here. On offense, I mean, come on, man, what is there to say? Cleveland has fucked it. What is it, do you ask?
23 massage therapists.
Yes, all of it. They fucked it. All Offensive line, aging. Running game, decrepit, except for Quishon Judkins, who we think is going to be good, but we don't know because it's Cleveland. Receiving game, sad. Deontay Johnson is an Arena League football player, and Cedric Tillman should be running practice squad reps. Tight end,
Who?
I actually like David Njoku.
That's
right. I think he's cool. I think he's tough. I like him, so he gets a pass for that.
I agree. He's cool.
But it all comes down to quarterback. Deshaun the Predator Watson is currently being booted into the sun for his crimes against humanity, which I believe is too merciful a punishment for him. So who will be throwing these mediocre weapons the ball? Well, take your pick. You can have a 60-year-old Joe Flacco, a young quarterback with tiny hands whose only significant experience is holding Jalen Hurts' clipboard, or you can have one of your rookies. One of the two, out of the two young guns, it's clearly, to me, it's Shedeur Sanders who should win out. The only things Dylan Gabriel should be throwing are beers to paying customers at a Cleveland Guardians game. Kevin Stefanski should be considered a saint at this point because of all the charity work he has done with this God-forbidden franchise and dead offensive weapons for 3 years now. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I just have written here Myles Garrett and who? Mason Graham, overrated. Jordan Hicks, overpaid. That's about it for the front seven. Browns picked up the Buccaneers' sloppy seconds with Joe Tryon Shoyinka, and Tampa let him walk for a reason. The secondary, on the other hand, I think it should actually be quite talented. I like Denzel Ward. I like Greg Newsome II. I like DeMonte Casey. They're all relatively young bright spots for the defense. They had a bit of regression last year in the secondary. I think they are just a little too young and too talented to be totally kept down. But it doesn't matter if you hold the opponent to 14 points a game if you can only score 6. Fuck the Browns.
Yeah. I have them starting off the season going 0-11, picking up wins against San Francisco, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh.
I mean, like, it's not unreasonable for them to go 0-11 to start.
They're playing Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Miami, New England, New Jersey Jets, Baltimore, and the Raiders.
I could see them beating Cincinnati week 1 because Cincinnati is used to having slow starts. But if they fix that this year, yeah, they could totally go 0-11. Jesus Christ.
It's honestly not ridiculous to say that.
Yeah.
It is not ridiculous to say that.
All right.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move to third place. In third place, I have at 5-12 the Pittsburgh Steelers.
In third place at 4-13, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
In third place with a record to be determined, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Look, I'll just say my piece.
Yeah, go ahead
here.
first. You can go first.
I didn't put as much for the Steelers here because I feel like we've talked about them. The addition of Aaron Rodgers, contrary to popular belief, does improve this offense. It goes from being truly utter poo-poo garbage to only being somewhat completely utter poo-poo garbage.
I would agree.
I expect Rodgers to have another middling season behind an okay offensive line with okay weapons and actually atrocious fucking running game. They let their only solid, they have a okay power back in Jaylen Warren. They let their finesse back, who people hated on, but Najee Harris.
Wait, where does he play now?
I don't know, but he's not a Steeler. I can't remember. He got traded to somewhere in the West, I think, but he is not a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think this will be yet another middling offense carried by the supposedly vaunted Steelers defense. On the defensive side, I mean, this is a classic Steelers defense. TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Queen, Cameron Hayward, all of these names strike fear into the heart of opposing offenses. If the Steelers can win every game 17-13, they will. The problem is they can't. Last year was an anomaly as TJ Watt was out for the majority of the season, but I can't help but expect some kind of drop in production from this aging unit. Most of their stars are old. Most of those guys I listed are entering the back halves of their career. TJ Watt's still kind of in his prime, but that injury last year, you don't know how he's going to come out of that exactly. You don't know if he's going to be able to maintain the same production. They do have some young stars. Joey Porter Jr., Derek Harmon, and Keanu Benton are all young bright spots. But this defense has two dangerous characteristics fighting against their success. They're old and they're overpaid. And that's, you want a young, cheap, fast defense. They are old and they make a lot of money. So I don't see it going well for the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't get why they traded away Pickens. I feel like they could have kept him around for another season. So now basically Aaron Rodgers has one weapon to throw to, so the defense knows who to target the entire time. Granted, DK Metcalf is hard to stop, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be a surprise where Aaron Rodgers is looking to throw the ball, meaning that he's going to have a pretty easy blind spot for edge rushers.
Yeah, the rest of their starting receiving core, just for folks that don't know, it's DK Metcalf, great number one option, and then Robert Woods and Calvin Austin III.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikers.
Robert Woods used to be like okay, but
he used to be really good in 2012.
Yeah, he was a great rotational piece for the Rams.
Yeah.
I think he would have chipped with the Rams.
Maybe, but I can't see him making a huge difference in
in the year of 2025.
Yeah, I didn't even know they traded away Najee Harris. He was good.
Yeah, he's on the Chargers now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
Kyle,
so
how are you feeling about the Bengals?
There was a point that you had said in there with the Steelers defense, how that you want them to be young and cheap. It's also kind of the opposite for the Bengals here because they are old and cheap. And when you get to that point in your career where it's a lot of maybe, year or two past their primes, not really wanting to stay in Cincinnati, they want to prove themselves in Cincinnati so that they can go somewhere else to get a contract because they don't want to stay in Cincinnati because the organization is shit. That's where this defense gets their, turns into Swiss cheese every week. So their offense is great. They have a lot of good weapons on there, and they're paying the people that they need to pay. It's just we have talked about the Bengals a lot throughout this offseason of how organizational failure has led them to this point. So again, they're going to score 30 points a game, but their defense is going to let up 35 or 40 a game, especially when Trey Hendrickson still hasn't gotten a contract yet. Their first-round draft pick, Stewart, is holding out. There's not chemistry there at this point. Every minute that goes by is a step back in terms of cohesion in this defensive unit, which already didn't have a lot of cohesion. So when half of your football team can't work together, how can I expect them to win games? How can they, Joe Burrow can put the team on his back and throw the ball to Jamar Chase as much as he wants, but that's not sustainable for 18 games or 17 games. So that's where I just can't trust the Bengals. That can kind of tie into my next point where I'll jump back to the Steelers because, spoiler alert, they're my number 2 in the AFC North here. But
I think it's a fair assumption who me and Ryan have at number 2. So
right,
yeah,
it would also be we kind of flip flop on here with the Steelers. I think that Ryan also had mentioned they kind of strike fear in opposing offenses, and especially in division play. The Steelers do really well. They've historically done really well in division. When they're playing the Bengals, when they're playing the Browns, who suck, and they usually will split the season series with the Ravens. They usually take one from them. Plus, they were the second seed in the AFC North last year, weren't they? I'm basically just running it back.
Yeah.
I think
the Bengals overtook them at the last minute, didn't they?
Steelers made the
Steelers were a wild card.
Yeah. Did the Steelers have a playoff game?
Yeah, they were a wild card.
They lost. Yeah. Or no. Yeah, they lost to the Chargers, I think. No,
the Chargers played the Texans.
Who did they play? Did they play the Ravens? Maybe.
I think they were the 6th seed, weren't they?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I can't
whatever.
think.
I know the Steelers
right
made the playoffs. They just beat out the Bengals.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So with that, again, it's you had an offense that really had one weapon with George Pickens and then Najee Harris. So you're upgrading, arguably, from George Pickens to DK Metcalf, and then you're also upgrading your quarterback. I hate to say it. It's a minuscule. It's a 0.0001% increase at your quarterback position.
I think it's replacement.
Right.
It's replacement level. Russell Wilson for them was not awful last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be significantly better than Russell Wilson.
He's definitely going to be serviceable.
I agree.
So that's where it's just this AFC North, I do feel comfortable saying like their standings last year are going to be the same this year because teams didn't necessarily improve. They just, they made moves, they made changes, but that didn't push the needle by any means. So that's where it's like I feel a little more comfortable with the Steelers being better than the Bengals again, because that's what Mike Tomlin always fucking does. He finds a way to get this 9-8 or 10-7 season and does better than the Bengals.
I think the only thing that can overpower Mike Tomlin devil magic is Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca magic.
True.
Of just shitting the bed wherever he goes. So, because remember, last year we were talking about the Jets were supposed to have this vaunted defense as well.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So, I think maybe it's a dangerous effect that he brings along.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead. I know, Cameron, we've got to have the same at number 2, because if we don't, I'm going to throw a riot. I have at 12-5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
I have them going 10-7.
I mean, yeah, not the same number, but at number 2.
12-5 is a lot better than I thought you would give them.
12-5 is up there. I'm optimistic on this Bengals team. Here's why. This offense should be God's gift to football.
Yes.
Joe Burrow is a top 3 passer in the league. Jamar Chase is the second best wide receiver in the NFL. And T. Higgins is possibly the best number 2 receiver in the game. The line is serviceable. It's good. It's not gonna be like Joe Burrow's rookie year when he was dying every play, but it's not gonna be like a top producing unit in the NFL, but it's gonna be good enough. And the run game should be actually pretty solid with Chase Brown returning from his first year at the helm last year. This offense should be able to put up 30 points a game.
Consistently.
And absolutely win firefights. The problem is every game is going to be a firefight. I will put the same amount of work into this summary as the Bengals put into forming their defense. None. Everything Kyle said.
Yeah.
I just think I'm so high on this offense. I think they're going to average 34 points this year.
Another thing to consider is that with a difference this big in offense and defense, the defense is going to be on the field longer than the offense is, more than likely. And you don't really like that if you're trying to win games. Usually you want your offense to have time, like more possession time, but this Bengals offense is just so explosive. They've got like 4 or 5
when they make the most
drives,
of their possessions, and most of them end in points.
If they can like actually play the clock and play the field well, I can see this team being pretty good. I'm not going to say really good because I do think there is just such a clear hole in the fact that their defense, the vibes are non-existent pretty much. It came out today that Trey Hendrickson is resuming contract talks with ownership, so he might not necessarily be gone. I would like it if he was gone.
If he was gone, yeah. I do have one prediction for this team. If after game 5, they are not at least 500, meaning 3-2, 4-1, or possibly 5-0. I don't think they'll go 5-0. But if they're not at least 3-2, Zach Brown will be fired. The head coach, or Zach Taylor.
Yeah, Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor will be fired.
You were combining
Zach Taylor
and Cleveland Brown.
I don't know how I did that in my brain, but yeah, that's what I did. If they come out to another slow start, they just can't afford it. If they come out and start the season 2-3, 12-5 is off the board. They'll be 10-7, 9-8. I think if this is the year that they can fix the slow starts, I could absolutely see 12-5. But it's going to be about those first 5 games. Because if you remember, after the Bengals came out from their slow start, they won like 7 of their last 9. They went on a streak at the end of the year. Once the offense gets rolling, it's just that hard to stop. It's a question of can they get rolling from game 1.
I think that they probably have a better chance for their offense to roll this year because they haven't had huge contract disputes this year. Because, Jamar got paid, D. Higgins got paid. So it's not years past where they're both holding out until August to try and get their deal done. Like they're going to be in these mandatory mini camps and training camp the whole time. So I think that's definitely going to help them. But obviously we just haven't seen it before of like, oh, hey, they have a full offseason together to get a game set. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But again, I am fully riding on the fact that their defense is no better than 11 traffic cones because they're the same color as the Bengals jerseys.
Fair point. Let's go ahead. We've all got the same team at the top of the division here. I at 15-2.
Wow.
I have the Baltimore Ravens.
At a record to be determined, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
At 11-6, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
11-6?
I have them losing to Buffalo, Kansas City, Chicago, Minnesota, Cincinnati, and Green Bay.
Okay, hold on.
We do not beat the Ravens.
They don't beat the Bears.
Yeah, we do.
Or they don't lose to the Bears.
Yeah, they do.
They do not lose to the
Bears. They
Bears.
do not lose to... I think they sweep the NFC North 4-0.
No, they lose to Minnesota.
I believe I have them losing one in-division game, and I have them losing to the Chiefs because devil magic fuckery. But I have them beating Buffalo in the first game of the year.
I don't know why. I just feel like Derrick Henry is going to regress like a lot. Here's
what I said. Baltimore is the Green Bay of the AFC.
No, because I actually like them.
John Harbaugh, if you're listening to me, get your star quarterback some real fucking weapons. Jesus Christ.
Kill Mark Andrews.
This team would have won at least one Super Bowl right now if they had more than just Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews' rotting corpse. Isaiah likely looks like he'll be a good replacement for Andrews, but in no universe do I trust Rashad Bateman and 80-year-old DeAndre Hopkins to produce. Luckily for the Ravens, it won't matter because they have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Defense can literally put 11 in the box and they'll still average 4 yards per rush. Baltimore is an unstoppable force, and I just don't see that many movable objects in front of them here. And then defensively, this team legitimately loaded the fuck up on defense in the draft. They took Malachi Starks in the first round, Mike Green in the second, and Teddy Buchanan in the fourth, which is needed because their pass rush was probably their biggest weakness last year, that in their past game. Well, outside of Deshaun Watson 2.0 at kicker position. Mike Green should help with their pass rush. He was a really adept edge rusher out of Marshall. He has some character concerns. I put that in quotations.
Yeah, we've discussed him before.
Yeah, we've talked about Mike Green and his history. If there's an organization that I think can both deal with it, but also kind of bring him in line, it is the Baltimore Ravens. They dealt with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. They can deal with Mike Green. Kyle Hamilton and the back ends of this defense should hold up well enough. Kyle Hamilton did have kind of an off year last year compared to his rookie season. I still think they're going to be solid enough to get carried by this unstoppable offense. They're like the Bengals if they were just better.
I still feel like anytime they're going to face a strong defensive line, they're going to struggle, I think, a little bit more than they did last year. I think Derrick Henry is getting up there in age. He needs tearaway pants.
Gonna hold that over his head forever.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude shows his ass on television one time.
It was awesome.
Non-consensually.
You had to be there.
You had to be there.
It's in the waivers that he signs. It's in his contract.
It's a part of his photo release. Ass on ESPN.
At least once this season, yeah. I don't know. I think Mark Andrews is a little bit of a terrorist. I think I haven't really followed too much of their offseason moves, but the vibes in my gut are telling me that they're still going to be good. They're still going to win the division, and I still think they're going to be a playoff threat. But I don't know. My gut is just telling me that they're going to lose some of these games.
I don't know. Kyle, what do you have to say about the Ravens?
A lot of my points have already been mentioned, so I just think the key thing to drive home, which ties into all of my other points, is that the AFC North, other than the Ravens, sucks. So it's going to be easy for them to win the division. And I think that's kind of where, like, Cam's point, I can kind of sort of agree with. I don't agree with maybe the teams, and I can probably dive into that further once I actually do a record prediction. But I think they're going to have an easy walkway to the first seed in the AFC North. I'm not saying that they're going to be the first seed in the AFC. I just think that they're going to be a good division winner that will have a deep playoff run. So that's just it. Not that they're going to have a cakewalk season, but I think they're going to have a little bit of a easier season than seasons past with the roster that they have and their competition.
Well, you've heard it here first, folks. Our official predictions. Of course, remember, these are in pencil until our final official predictions playoff week, which is in about 8 weeks from now. But these are our predictions as of current for the AFC North. We all have the Browns finishing at the bottom and the Ravens up at the top. We will see where those record and predictions line up once the season comes around. But we'll have to wait for that. NFL football, it's about 11 weeks away. Boy, I'm raring and ready to go. But you know what you don't have to wait for? Because it's here, right now. For all of you beautiful folks out there, it's Cameron's Album of the Week. Well, Cameron, what have you got for us this week?
Today we are going to be talking about the 2025 album from Key vs. Lockett called I Felt Like a Sketch. Key vs. Lockett is a side project of Brazilian artist Wikipedia, also known as Delta. Yeah, she got her foot in like hyperpop early 20s, sort of moved into hip hop a little bit, but completely changed styles with her 2024 album For the Rest of Your Life, which is very much like a shoegaze project. It sounds a lot like Paranol, if you know who he is. He's one of the biggest names in shoegaze right now, South Korean guy. He's great. That album sounded a lot like him. And with his side project Key vs. Lockett, she makes a full-on like Midwest emo album, a little bit of a noise pop element in there as well. Very lo-fi, very like guitar riff focused, not very clear vocals. It just sounds fun, and I think it's cool that a Brazilian artist is making Midwest emo. Yeah, a few songs that I want to shout out on here. Tackle, the opening track, is super cool. I think that chorus is really catchy, and the guitar riff is awesome. My favorite song on here is probably Symptom. It just gets really noisy in the middle. The guitar riff is super cool. Just guitar riffs all around. This album, I feel like most of the songs follow a pretty similar format when it comes to structure. Guitar riff, drums, noisy vocals, and these guitar riffs are very math rocky, very Midwest emo. Yeah, Symptom is really good. Conjoined is an interlude. It's very soft. I thought it worked really well for the middle of the album. Only Human Anywhere at All was kind of a weird track, but I liked it. And then also Medicine near the end. I really like that one as well. So yeah, if you fuck with some Midwest emo, if you want to hear a Brazilian artist make a kick-ass Midwest emo album, check out I Felt Like a Sketch by Key vs. Lockett. Also, she is trans. Happy Pride Month.
Right. I want to shout out one song, specifically for the reason you did mention, the guitar riffs. I love the riffs across this album, but specifically the riff at the beginning of the 8th track, Nothing for a Moment. Oh, it tickles me. It tickles me in that particular way that a guitar riff can tickle. I like it. It's a nice little soothing open to the track before it becomes more rhythmic. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, I quickly listened to this album before we started recording. So I only listened to the first half of it, but the first half kind of rocked. It was cool vibes. Again, nothing that necessarily was like stand out, top one album of the year necessarily, but really solid music, really solid production, which you typically see out of the shoegaze or even hyperpop, adjacent realms.
Not shoegaze at all.
But no, I'm saying like again, we were talking about the artist who is in the shoegaze and hyperpop realms. I know this is a side project for them, but you see that a lot from those artists, and it really applied well to the genre. So nothing to complain about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's clear, but there are like lo-fi elements to the vocals and drums that remind me a lot of like pretty cop-out answer, but modern football or American football, modern baseball is a different Midwest emo group. Yeah. Solid album.
Yeah.
Awesome. Check it out.
So,
Happy Pride Month.
Go ahead.
Let's go, white
Pride.
people.
Give it a listen. Great album art, too. Shout out. Great album
Very
art. Love it.
simplistic.
Simplistic. Yes, I love a simplistic album
I
art.
felt like a sketch, and it's just like a little sketch and like a little music note looking thing. And it's sweet.
Go ahead. Give it a listen. Because now you're done listening to our podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to us talk about sports. If you're listening to this on release, I hope you have a wonderful Friday. If you're listening to it to the weekend, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're listening to it during the week, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much again. And one last reminder, please, if you disagree with our NBA Finals reactions or our AFC North rankings, call in, let us know. That is memo.fm/Bisportuals, memo.fm/Bisportuals. Bisportuals. I really stretched that one out, so Cameron had to dance on screen for longer.
I'm a little sunflower.
I was dancing the whole time, but you'll never know.
With that said, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.
I'm doing the donkey roll.
Kyle, freestyle.
Boom.
Freestyle right now, Kyle.
Boom. Boom. Boom.